So Donald Trump's campaign was run at least partly on economic populism. And I think that's why he did so much better than the other establishment Republicans, because when you had guys like Mitt Romney in 2012 or Marco Rubio and Jeb Bush, you know, this time around, on top of them just having like the world's worst personalities, they also would talk about, yeah, free trade is great. Let's outsource more American jobs. Wouldn't it be wonderful if we cut Social Security and Medicare? Yay! So they're just totally and completely out of touch with regular people and how even your average Joe Republicans like those programs. This like idea that, well, you know, Republicans have a principled belief in small government. That's not true. If you go talk to an average Joe Republican in Mississippi or Alabama, yeah, I like Medicare. I like Social Security. You know, it's not the case that they're all like Ayn Rand believing pseudo-intellectuals. They're regular people who have regular jobs, and you know, one of the things that they're going to need is their health care when they get in their older ages. And so Medicare is a wonderful thing. They pay into it, they take out of it. And these are people who also didn't like the fucking trade deals that ruin these factory towns in the Rust Belt. It's one of the main reasons why they voted for Donald Trump in the Rust Belt, is they say, hey, Hillary, you know, we look at her as the establishment. We look at her as very corrupt, and her husband signed NAFTA. She was on board with these so-called free trade deals. Trump was over here railing against TPP every single day when he was campaigning. So part of why Trump won, of course, is also the heavy dose of nativism and bigotry. But the other part of it, which I think people often leave out, is the economic populism. Now, since he's been in office, the economic populism is out the window. Even the one thing that we originally gave him credit on, which is killing TPP, you know, word is out now that in this NAFTA renegotiation that's going on, he's just taking a bunch of provisions from TPP and putting it right in the NAFTA renegotiation. So that it was a trick. He's still going to effectively do the provisions of TPP that screw over regular people. But now we have another example of this fake populism and how it's coming back to bite everybody in the ass because he never really meant it. He never really cared about looking out for regular people. And we all should have known that, because the reality is he has his products made in 12 different countries. You're going to have somebody lecture everybody about being made in America, and he doesn't even make his own products, and his daughter doesn't even make her products in America? That's beyond hypocritical. That's so hypocritical we need a fucking new word for it. Okay, so listen to this. This is from the International Business Times, and they gave us the unsavory details of this new deal that Trump announced, and it's a clusterfuck. So they say, Apple supplier Foxconn, who, by the way, they recently announced, hey, new jobs. Foxconn is going to create jobs here in like Wisconsin. Apple supplier Foxconn has in recent years been accused of poisoning waterways near its facilities in China. Now, Republican Governor Scott Walker of Wisconsin is not only proposing to give the company a $3 billion taxpayer subsidy, his administration has also quietly slipped language into a bill that would exempt the Taiwanese conglomerate from state environmental protection laws. Walker, President Donald Trump, and House Speaker Paul Ryan have in recent days touted Foxconn's announcement that it will open a new manufacturing plant in Ryan's southwest Wisconsin congressional district. None of them, however, mentioned that the legislation providing the taxpayer subsidies included blanket waivers from Wisconsin's environmental statutes. Under those laws, companies are prohibited from discharging materials or otherwise polluting wetlands without a specific permit to do so. Under the bill that Walker has put forward, companies within the new economics and information technology manufacturing zone will be allowed to discharge material into non-federal wetlands if it relates to the construction or operation of a manufacturing facility. Walker has called a special session that will discuss his bill tomorrow. So, look at the trick they pull here. Oh, tremendous. We just we're new factory jobs making America great again, bringing them to Wisconsin. Foxconn factory. Unbelievable, let me just tell you. They're waiving the environmental protection laws that Foxconn would have to abide by when they have a history of abusing it and polluting in China. And let me ask anybody, Republican, Democrat, doesn't matter. Do you want the United States of America to start looking like China in terms of pollution? We've all seen the pictures coming out of there. The crazy smog, the insane level of pollution that literally in some places breaks the meter. It breaks the meter when they go to measure it. Is that what you want here in the United States? You want that kind of a system where it's industry run amok, they get to do whatever the hell they want, and it doesn't matter if they pollute everything or if they poison the drinking water that ends up going to you and your family, your kids? I would guess you'd say no. But they waive all the environmental protection laws for them, which is crazy, and right off the bat we should say, yeah, maybe this deal's a piece of shit. But then furthermore, the taxpayers are giving them a $3 billion subsidy. You know what a subsidy is? It's a fancy way of saying welfare check. What happened to the free market, guys? What happened to the free market? I thought these guys are, ones who say, well, business should be free to move and do what they want, and it should be an even playing field. This isn't an even playing field. This is you're giving an unfair advantage to that company by giving them a massive welfare check that taxpayers pay for, and effectively, taxpayers are paying them to violate the environmental protection laws. And we don't even know how many jobs they're going to have, and we don't even know how permanent those jobs are or how well-paying those jobs are. So you hose the fucking taxpayers to create, we don't even know how many jobs, to have them ruin the environment and pollute, and they're not subject to the environmental protection laws. For what? For what? So that you can score what you think is a political victory to say, see, jobs, we brought jobs here. And we've seen this time and time again, man. This happened with Chris Christie as well in New Jersey. He spoke about, we got a tremendous thing we're going to do here. We're going to bring industry back to New Jersey, and industry is going to thrive. And so there were all these companies that were like, oh, yeah, give us a subsidy, and then we'll come and we'll set up shop there, and we'll hire a lot of people and everything. So what did they do? That's exactly what they did. They did these giant corporate subsidies, these welfare checks to all these corporations under the promise from the corporations, we're going to come there and create a lot of jobs, don't worry. Then they go there, and what happens? They end up, hiring fewer than half the people they said. Some of them even fired people. So it's just they're robbing the taxpayers. Yeah, give me the subsidy, and then I'll create jobs. And then they don't do it. They don't fucking do it. Again, the same thing happens with repatriation. That's when corporations hide their money overseas to dodge paying taxes. They'll say to the government, oh yeah, let's do a repatriation deal. If you lower my tax rate and give me effectively a corporate subsidy, well then I'll come back here and I'll create jobs. And then they just don't do it. So the government gives them a giant welfare check, and then they go back on even creating the jobs. So we don't even know if they're really going to create that many jobs. But they're going to get $3 billion of taxpayer money and no environmental protection laws. They're not going to abide by any of those. These guys don't give a fuck about regular people or the country. For this, it's all optics and corruption. They make this corrupt deal, and then you have the optics of like, see, we created some jobs, maybe, but we'll just spin it like, now all of a sudden we're FDR. You're nothing like FDR. You're giant, corrupt, disgusting jokes